Hello there guys, welcome to another my live video. I've just got some bad team news to update you on for the Bournemouth Manchester United game. Obviously, I give you my press conference reaction earlier on today. Obviously, I interpreted some of the stuff that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had currently mentioned. So now it has confirmed that Harry Maguire, Marcus Rashford, and Victor Lindelof are all doubts for the game tomorrow, because I do believe that all three players had sustained knocks in the 2-1 win in the Carabao Cup against Chelsea. I think Rashford has sustained some kind of knee problem. Obviously, Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof had sustained some knocks. So that is a bad blow for Manchester United. Don't forget, it also got confirmed that Alex Tuanzebe, Nemanja Matic and Luke Shaw will definitely not be playing in the game tomorrow. Obviously, I think Solskjaer confirmed that, they should be back after the international break. Luke Shaw's been out with a hamstring injury, he hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace. Obviously, with Alex Tuanzebe, he hasn't played, for quite some time now. Obviously, due to the hip injury, he's got. Obviously, he's a big miss, and with Nemanja Matic, he's got a minor problem. But Solskjaer did actually say that, regarding Rashford, Maguire, and Lindelof, they've all had treatment today. He obviously, said they had some treatment yesterday. But yeah, they are big doubts for the game, and Manchester United have had a lot of injuries this season. So obviously in that aspect, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had to make alterations in the squad. But it is good now, that some players have recovered from injury, so we will take that into account. But Manchester United do need to beat Bournemouth tomorrow. That's very, very imperative, because obviously we do want to keep our hopes up for that top four. Because I did say at the start of this season that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top four. So in that aspect, we can get back into the Champions League. We have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 3 decades. But, obviously, reflecting back before the Liverpool game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was under intense pressure at the football club. He was under intense pressure, and but you could arguably say that, the last 4 games, have probably, saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. Because obviously, for the majority of this season, a lot of Manchester United fans, including me, obviously, have been criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics. Because I do admit, for the majority of this season, Manchester United have been tactically inept. But I do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the last 4 games. His tactics have been right. And I think, regarding this new formation, I think it's turning Manchester United's season around, and I do believe where we do look better with 3 at the back. Obviously, mainly for this season, Solskjaer has been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation, but obviously we do know that that formation hasn't been working. He actually reverted back to the 4-2-3-1 in the win against Norwich. He obviously in the game in the Carabao Cup midweek, went with the 3-4-1-2 and that. But I do believe, from my own perception, we do look better with 3 at the back. But reflecting on the last 4 results, I think they've been very, very positive. 3 wins and a draw. But I think there's been a variety of changes, quite recently with Man United. There's been certain players that have stepped up to the plate. Rashford has definitely rejuvenated himself quite recently. Scored 2 goals midweek in the back Carabao Cup against Chelsea. Scored a stunning free kick. Also scored a penalty. And I know for the majority of this season that Marcus Rashford has been very, very poor. And I know I've been criticising him, but I'd still say he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. But I've been very, very impressed with him. It's going to be a shame that he's probably not going to be playing tomorrow. But Rashford, has done really, really well. I think McTominay's done really, really good this season. I've been very, very impressed with McTominay. He's obviously, been a first team regular this season, but he has deserved to keep his place in the team, reflecting on his impressive performances. And in regards to him being long-term solution for Man United, I have got element of concerns about that. But he has, done really, really well. Obviously, Fred, I've got the same sort of perception on Fred of what I've got of McTominay. I don't know if he's the long-term solution for Man United, Fred. But, he has done really, really well in his last couple of games. And to be fair, I think he's blended in alongside McTominay, quite recently as well. So I will credit him for that. I will agree on the aspects that Man United did overpay for Fred. But obviously, we're known for overpaying for players anyway. We've done it quite a few times in recent years. But the club paid just under £50 million for him. He hasn't performed to the standards as we should expect. He was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk, but hasn't mainly replicated this yet at Manchester United. But I do believe the football club do need to give him more of a chance. I think this also plays a part in it as well. We've looked better, since Martial's got back into the team. He's just not too long ago recovered from injury, and Anthony Martial has already, bagged 2 goals in for Man United, since his recovery from injury. And we are all aware of the inspiration he does add in that attack of third of the pitch. Martial, he's actually predominantly a wing, predominantly plays out wide on the left, but it got confirmed at the start of this season that Anthony Martial had been given that number 9 shirt. Obviously, Martial and Rashford, can both play in the same position, so they are compatible in that aspect. I think as it stands at the moment, they are compatible in terms of how many goals they've scored, because I think Rashford scored 52 for the club. Martial now has scored around 52 goals. But I'm glad that he's now back in the team. Is Anthony Martial. He's now into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. I think also our away form's really, really improved. We've won our last 3 away from home on the trot, which is obviously very, very good. Because obviously that win against Norwich, was actually our first win away from home in the Premier League, since February. So that just indicates how, how bad our away form was. And if we can get a victory against Bournemouth tomorrow, that will be our 4th away win on the trot on that. So that's something else that's, improved. Obviously we seem to be scoring a bit more goals quite recently. That's something else that's improved. But yeah, quite a lot of things have improved. Also, the personnel is there, so that's really, really good to see. But I definitely do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the last 4 games. Like Solskjaer did mention in his press conference, very, very good point against Liverpool. We're the only team this season in the league so far to take any points off them, and it was actually a very, very good performance against Liverpool, and we was unlucky not to win the game. The game against Partizan Belgrade, it wasn't the best of performances, but we still got the win. Obviously, it was a goal from Anthony Martial in that game. I thought the best player in that game, was definitely, Brandon Williams. I thought, he played really, really well. But Solskjaer gave his own perception on that particular game, and he says, we defensively, played really, really well at the back, but we wasn't that too good. But he actually criticised, the defending up front in that particular game. Norwich, Solskjaer said, he believes it was a very, very good performance. I think from my own perception, Norwich is the best performance of the season so far. Very, very good win. And a pretty decent performance against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. And it is good now, that we have progressed to the 5th round of the competition. Obviously we've got it's the quarterfinals, isn't it? Should I say? We have actually got a Colchester, so we should progress to the semi-final. In that competition. But yeah, it was a very, very good win against Chelsea. And like I've mentioned on my recent videos, I think, some aspects of that game, actually, replicated the game at Old Trafford on the beginning of the season. Because we did beat, Chelsea by 4 goals still on the opening day. And in that game, Chelsea pressed high, they played some expansive football, just like they did in periods of the game on Wednesday evening. That's what Chelsea did. They did really, really well in the second half. But I thought, we definitely, dominated the first half. But obviously, in the game, we made a lot of alterations in the squad. Obviously, give more of the youngsters a chance. Chelsea, obviously, played a lot of their youngsters and stuff. But it was a very, very good result for Man United. And, we've now beat Chelsea 3 times this year. We've beaten 3 times this year. Solskjaer has overcome Frank Lampard twice. But it's good. We've won our last 2 visits to Stamford Bridge, and overall we've got an abysmal record at Stamford Bridge. We haven't beaten them in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge since 2012. So that's nearly around 8 years ago now. But it's good now that Man United seems to be showing some heart. seem to be showing some passion. You know, there seems to be more confidence now in the team. You know, the momentum, you know, seems to be building, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, has recently mentioned, which is obviously, you know, really, really good. But Bournemouth is, you know, going to be a tougher game tomorrow. You know, Bournemouth, you know, can play good football. You know, like Solskjaer, you know, he actually, you know, praised Bournemouth towards the back end of his press conference, and he actually did say, you know, they don't leak a lot of goals. You know, they can score goals. They've got some good attacking players of Bournemouth. You know, they've got the likes of Callum Wilson. You know, they've got Ryan Fraser. They've got, you know, Joshua King. You know, he says they're, you know, good at getting runs in behind. You know, they're very direct. You know, this is what, you know, Solskjaer had mentioned. So it is actually, you know, going to be a very, very tough game. You know, but Bournemouth have endured a pretty difficult time recently. You know, they've done okay so far this season, but recently they've been quite poor. You know, because they've drawn 3 of their last 4 games. Haven't been scoring much goals lately either, Bournemouth. But the only occasion, you know, Bournemouth did beat Man United, obviously, you know, was back in 2015 by 2-1. I think that was I think that was when Bournemouth first came up to the Premier League. So Bournemouth have been in the Premier League now for almost 5 years. Eddie Howe, I want to update you on as well, has come up with quite a few things. He's actually now give his overarching view on, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United. What? All right. And, you know, Eddie Howe, you know, believes that Manchester United are building. You know, this is what, you know, he believes. And he also has actually said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has handled the pressure well at the football club. So maybe from Eddie Howe's perception, maybe he thinks, you know, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's given the time he's demanding, then maybe he will become a success at the football club. With Eddie Howe, like I mentioned, he's spent the majority of his managerial career with Bournemouth. You know, he's been managing now for quite some time. Obviously, before he was at Bournemouth, he had a short period with Burnley. But obviously, you know, during his playing career, you know, Eddie Howe, you know, served the majority of his playing career with Bournemouth. So I also, you know, will take that into account. You know, we did the double over Bournemouth last season. You know, we beat them 4-1 at Old Trafford. You know, we beat them 2-1 at the Vitality Stadium. So it is a game, you know, where Manchester United should win. But now at the moment, we're currently sitting 7th in the league. We're sitting 7 points behind top 4. I haven't fully disregarded the top 4. I obviously know it's going to be still very difficult, you know, for Manchester United to get into that top 4 and that. I said if we hadn't won against Norwich, I would have fully, you know, disregarded that top 4. I still probably believe that we're probably, you know, not going to get it. Maybe this season, I think Man United will probably finish 7th or 6th, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But he is, you know, still a long way to go. Definitely, you know, still a long way to go. As you all know as well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that Paul Pogba is out until December, so he's out for at least another month. Paul Pogba had confirmed the extent of Paul Pogba's ankle injury, and we obviously now it must be more severe than we first feared. Paul Pogba's injury, but he has been a big miss. But to be quite fair, you know, we've actually, you know, looked better without Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba, I think's missed 9 of the last 11 games in all competitions, you know, due to this ongoing ankle injury. So Paul Pogba, you know, should be, you know, back in December. You know, Solskjaer did say there's a slight chance that Paul Pogba, you know, could be, you know, back for the Sheffield United game after the international break, but, you know, very, very unlikely. You know, this is what he had confirmed. So, yeah, Paul Pogba, like, you know, like I've said, he's out for at least another month. But, yeah, you know, we do seem to look, you know, look better without him. But Paul Pogba's been, you know, at Man United since 2016, you know, when he rejoined from Juventus. And Paul Pogba now is nearly been at Man United now 4 years. And you can say he's endured mainly a difficult time at the club in comparison to his time when he was at Juventus. But again, Man United overpaid for him. You know, we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba. And of course, he's our most expensive signing. I still believe he's orchestrating on leaving Man United either in January or next summer. And I still believe his preference is a move to Real Madrid, because don't forget, for the entirety of the summer transfer window, he was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. There was also talks about him, possibly making a return back to Turin. There was quite a few other teams in for him, but it was mainly Real Madrid that were in for him. Obviously, Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his current contract with the football club, with an option to extend it by a further year. And Paul Pogba, he's on a substantial amount of Man United. He's on around 290 grand a week. So in that aspect, he's one of the highest paid players at the club, and he's on just under 300 grand a week at Manchester United. And that, don't forget, there was a lot of reports about a month or so ago now, was it, or maybe even longer than that, saying that, Paul Pogba was reportedly demanding a substantial 600 grand a week from the football club if he was to extend his contract. Don't forget, we had a few negotiations with Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, over the possibility of renewing his contract at the club and that. But I can't see, us willing to meet his wage demands. But regardless whether Paul Pogba stays or goes next year, we still do need to reinvest in that midfield without a shadow of a doubt. But Solskjaer, anywhere has confirmed, he has confirmed that Fred, will take Paul Pogba's position for him a while. He has confirmed this, because Solskjaer, did say in his press conference prior to the Chelsea game midweek that, Fred and, Andres Pereira are 2 important players for the football club. And I think Pereira, to be quite fair, has developed in the last couple of games. Obviously, he's also praised McTominay lately. He said McTominay is obviously, comparison to Fred and Pereira, because obviously he's a different type of player. Solskjaer obviously recently, praised Brandon Williams, because Brandon Williams has done really, really well. Brandon Williams now has made 3 appearances for Manchester United so far. He's only 19 years of age, and a lot of Manchester United fans do believe now he's a better solution than Luke Shaw, despite the fact that that Luke Shaw is our first choice left back. But Brandon Williams, to me, he shows a lot of attacking intent. He's defensively, very, very good, and I think he's one of the young upcoming players, that can become a success at Man United. James Garner, I don't really have a perception on him at the moment. I haven't really seen him play that much, so I think he needs to be given more chances, for me then to give me a overarching view on him. But I thought he did really, really well in the Partizan Belgrade game. Did James Garner. Obviously, he made his full debut for the football club. He made his full debut for the football club. But like I mentioned anyway, we have got a lot of young players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve at Manchester United. And like I did put into the equation, that obviously, not all the young upcoming players are going to become a success at Manchester United. This is why I think we need to orchestrate on maybe, loaning some out in January, because I've got an element of concerns about certain young upcoming players. But I can definitely assure that the likes of Mason Greenwood, Tuan Zebe, very, very probable Brandon Williams, all will become successes at Manchester United. But yeah, and I credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in that aspect, and there's quite a few aspects of me that do credit Solskjaer, and I credit him as well because he's got a lot of trustworthy and his young upcoming players. I can definitely assure as well tomorrow that Eric Bailly obviously won't be playing. Eric Bailly is out until the end of the year with a knee injury, and Diego Dalot, I think it's unknown, when he will be back in contention, because Diego Dalot has sustained quite a few injuries, this season. Give him more time at the club as well. He's only been at Man United, since last summer. Obviously, we paid around 19 or 20 million pounds from Porto, and he is one of our backup options with that right back position. Fosu Mensah, of course, is still out with injury, but I think it's now being revealed that he's back in training. It also confirmed that Luke Shaw is back in training. Solskjaer actually said that Luke Shaw now is not too far away from returning to the squad. But, we have still got quite a lot of injuries. We have still got quite a lot of injuries, and now it's made things worse with Rashford and, Maguire and Lindelof, all out. And, my perception on Lindelof, I think he's mainly done well this season for Man United. I think he's had probably 2 bad games this season, but prior to that, he's done really, really well. And he has blended in alongside Harry Maguire in our backline fantastically well. So I will credit him for that. Lindelof's obviously, now into his third season as a Man United player. And I will agree on the aspect, that he didn't, settle in straight away in his first season. He was pretty poor in his first season, but then, he did well. His second season was totally comparison to his first season. His second season, he was really, really good. And I think so far this season, he's mainly replicating what he did last season, Lindelof and that. But, the likes of, Lindelof and Fred, they're totally comparison, to, the free signs that were recommended in during the summer, because the free signs that we recommended in the summer have seemed to, settle in really, really quick. Daniel James has settled in well. Anwan-Bissaka's settled in really, really well. A lot of people believe that Anwan-Bissaka has been our most consistent signing. Harry Maguire has, blended in, has settled in really, really well. And that's also something else I do credit Solskjaer for. He did recommend 3 good players to the squad during the summer. We spent a substantial amount. We spent, nearly £150 million, on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, on Harry Maguire. But, there's still areas, in the squad that do need to be addressed. So it was good during the summer, that we did address some of the problematic areas. But, we didn't address all the problematic areas. But so it's good, that we are making plans for January, and I think Solskjaer has been assured that, he will be giving money to spend in January and, of course, next year. I think we're orchestrating on maybe spending from, between 200 to 300 million pounds next year. I think we're orchestrating on bringing at least 4 new signings in next year. But I said for me, from my perspective, I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. But I've obviously identified the areas where Manchester United need to strengthen up. We definitely need. We need a midfielder because, like I mentioned, we're missing a creative impetus in that midfield. Some people believe we need 2 midfielders, but we definitely do need to recruit. We need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. We also need a striker. We need someone to come in who can assure us goals. Someone who can be more effective in the box. And someone who can lead the lines and that. And probably we do need experience in that attacking line. But we definitely need to recruit a replacement for Lukaku and Sanchez, because I think, we've looked very, very exposed in that attacking line, since their current dismissals. But yeah, we definitely need an attacker. Some people believe maybe we need a full-back, left back. But maybe we don't now, because obviously with Brandon Williams, because like I mentioned, I think Brandon Williams is going to definitely earn more first team promotions without a shadow of a doubt. I think Solskjaer, he's probably keen on sticking to the policy of recruiting young British players, like he did do during the summer. So I think he's keen on doing this. But yeah, definitely more signings are needed at the football club. Obviously, I said, our recruitment has definitely now got to improve in the next 3 to 4 transfer windows, because analysing our recruitment, it's been very poor for several years. And I think in that aspect, the blame does stem from, the board. I think, the board anywhere have been a liability for several years, like I mentioned, with, the poor recruitment, the poor selection of managers. And, I think the board do need to assure structural change at the football club, and whether they can do this or not, I do not know. And I think, mainly due to our inconsistency, the board are mainly to blame. Obviously, prior to the 4 games recently, I think, due to, our inconsistency, I think, everyone needs to take the blame. Obviously, for quite a lot of games this season, obviously, with the bad performances, Solskjaer's been accountable for that. I think a lot of the blame also stems from Ed Woodward, because I also believe he's been a liability for several years. And obviously, a lot of the blame does stem from a lot of the players and that. But yeah, so definitely, the recruitment has got to improve in that without a shadow of a doubt. Like I said, for next year, we have got quite a lot of players on our agenda. So I've already been through it, with what players, Manchester United are currently linked with. I do also believe that more players do need to leave Manchester United. Despite the fact that a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, there's definitely more players that do need to go. I think from my own perception, probably another 4 or 5 more players do need to leave. But I think for me, the players that I do need to leave. I think Young's definitely now past his sell by date at the football club. Obviously, Young, was our first choice right back last season. Take into account as well, he did. Sign a new 1 year extension last season. That was a bad mistake from the football club. Young's been a long-serving player at Man United. He's now into his ninth season at the club, but he has been here 8 years, so he has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. But he's definitely one of the problematic players at the football club. He's now 34 years of age. I think he's 35 next year. Phil Jones, another one of the problematic players. Obviously, I said the likes of Jones and you know, Jones and Marcus Rojo and that, they'll get, their chances, in the, like the Europa League and the Carabao Cup games and that. But prior to that, they're not really going to get their opportunities. Jones again has been a long-serving player with the football club. He's now into his ninth season as a Manchester United player. He has been here 8 years, so he's been in the same. More or less the same amount of time as Ashley Young, as Phil Jones. Again, we shouldn't have given him a new, long-term contract last season. I think we basically, should have got rid of Jones during the summer, like we did do with Chris Smalling. With Rojo, we have seen glimpses, of how good he can be, for Manchester United. Rojo, obviously, has also, sustained quite a few injuries as a Man United player. Obviously, I think he's now into his fourth or is it his fifth season now with the football club. Rojo, he has just got under 2 years left on his contract, but I do believe Man United need to consider getting rid of him next year. Matic, definitely, one of the problematic players. And I did say, despite the fact I think we need to invest in our midfield, I think any of our current midfielders now are much better solutions than the Manu Matic, because Matic, I've got a lot of element of concerns about him. He's too slow, too ineffective in that midfield, and too easily predictable. And Matic isn't getting any younger now. He is 31 years of age, and that sometimes in certain aspects of his game he can do well. He can pass the ball well. He can. He can sometimes defensively do well, but he's just too slow. That's my element of concern I've got about him, basically. And, we overpaid for Matic again. We paid just over £40 million. Well, it was around £40 million we paid for the player. But yeah, definitely overpaid for him. He's now into his third season as a Manchester United player. He's Matic. But I definitely, believe that the football club need to move him on, at some point next year. It would be more beneficial to get rid of him in January, because we could cash in for him in January. But if we let him go in the summer, well, obviously we'll let him go on a free transfer, because his current contract comes to an end at the end of this season. That Man United do actually have an option to extend it by a further year. So there's definitely still more players that need to leave. My overarching view on Lingard, he really needs to step up to the plate, because I think he's enjoyed a really difficult time this season, reflecting on his bad run of performances, and like I mentioned, reflecting on Jesse Lingard's status at the football club, he should be putting much more better performances out. So I'm very, very confident, we will beat Bournemouth tomorrow, like I mentioned. But, so hopefully now we can, keep this good run of form up. But, there's still certain aspects of our game that Man United do need to improve. Don't get me wrong, we need to start, scoring more goals. We need to start creating more chances, because, we've been struggling to create chances this season, to be quite honest with you. So that's definitely, something we do need to improve on. And in that aspect, it was a similar sort of thing to last season, because last season we didn't score enough goals. There was quite a few games last season where we didn't create chances, but there was actually a lot of games last season where we was creating chances, but we just wasn't ruthless enough in front of goal and that. And in the league so far this season, in the Premier League, we've managed 13 goals in 10 games, and we still know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. So that's definitely got to improve. Got to create more chances and that. That's definitely nowhere got to improve. Definitely, got to improve as that. But we will see what happens. But yeah, so I think my perception hasn't really changed on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. reflecting even though reflecting on the last 4 games, I still don't believe he's a long-term future for Manchester United. I do agree with the football club keeping him, probably for at least this season, give him at least a couple more windows, to see who else he can recommend in to the football club. Because if we got rid of him now or just before Christmas, it wouldn't solve a lot of problems. Well, it actually wouldn't solve many problems, because you can still quite frankly say that Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Man United team, because like I do keep mentioning, analysing the majority of this team, it isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho did recommend 11 players to the football club. And, like I mentioned, Solskjaer is now inheriting the vast majority of them. But I think, we're willing to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the next couple of windows. But Solskjaer, does insist that he insists he's the right man for Man United, and he insists he's the right, manager. And obviously, and he insists that Man United are heading into the right direction, reflecting on our 2-1 win against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, Ed Woodward has got the same perception as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He insists he's 100% backing Solskjaer. But I do love him a lot, Solskjaer. And he hasn't really been here that long now anywhere. He's been at the football club now overall for around 10 months. He's been at Man United just under a year. He's been at Man United just under a year, and that, he's been permanent manager now for around 7.5 months, so he's nearly been permanent manager 8 months. Obviously, don't forget, he is on a 3-year contract. And, what I've seen in the last 4 games, it's actually replicating, what I saw in that 3-month period, from the team when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, because, he did really, really well, when he was the interim manager, did Solskjaer, he exceeded expectations. You got the players playing in the right, vein. They were just playing really, really well. The results were positive in that. And, it has seemed to have all gone wrong mainly, since he has got the job permanently and that. But, my element of concerns I've got about Solskjaer is that, he doesn't really have any intuition on how to manage a big football club like Manchester United. Obviously, before he was at Man United, obviously, he was at Mould, he won a couple of Norwegian titles at Mould. Obviously, before that, he had a really short tenure with Cardiff. He only managed around 29-30 games for Cardiff, and, he actually ended up getting Cardiff relegated. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But, Solskjaer knows the traditions of Manchester United and that, and this is why, obviously, this is probably one of the main reasons why we recommended him in after Jose Mourinho's dismissal and that, because don't forget, after Jose Mourinho's dismissal, there was quite a few managers on our agenda. There was talks of Pochettino coming in. I think at that current time he was the primary candidate. There was talks of Zinedine Zidane, but our preference, obviously, was just Ole Gunnar Solskjaer over them. But, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. But yeah, he does deserve more time at the football club. Yes, he does, without a shadow of a doubt. He does deserve more time at the football club and that. And but yeah, Solskjaer's obviously also got a lot of honesty about him. Obviously he was recently, discussing the club's transition. He's admitted that the club transition has been hard. I think, we're in transition now, and I think, we could be in transition for quite some time. But yeah, so like I also put into the equation, despite the fact, the 3 signings that Man United, recommended in Germany this summer and that, I still expected us this season, not to, win the league or, even mount any kind of title challenge up, because I still, believe that our squad is not good enough to win the league at the moment. I think it's definitely good enough for the top 4 finish. But I think if we got the top 4 this season, I would be very, very happy. And obviously, it would be better for us because it would create a platform for us. It would give us something to build on, which is obviously very, very good. And I don't think we'll win the league for at least the next 2 to 3 years, because obviously it is a long rebuilding process. Like I currently mentioned, but I think if we can get the right calibre players, next year and that, then I think we can be a future title contenders, without a shadow of a doubt. But we haven't won the league, since 2013. Obviously, that's almost 7 years ago. Now, last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. You don't forget, but I don't think it'll take another 30 years to win another Premier League title. But yeah, you know, Man United have made quite a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years in that. But you know, you do try and learn from your mistakes. One of the mistakes for Man United, obviously, was giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. I do believe we're giving the job too soon. We did give him the job too soon, and I actually believe that we shouldn't have got rid of Ander Herrera. You know, that was another mistake from the football club. One mistake Ferguson never made, was obviously recommending David Moyes to the job, but that was the only mistake Ferguson did make. So, there's quite a lot of mistakes Man United have made over the years. You could arguably say that we should have kept certain players and we shouldn't have got rid of them. So you could pinpoint out as another mistake. But yeah, so hopefully now things will keep turning around at Manchester United. As you all know, a lot of money has been invested into the football club. I think it's around £700-800 million that's been spent in the last 6 or 7 years in all the managerial eras since the Ferguson era. So that's just under £1 billion. And that's not taking into account what was spent under Alex Ferguson. We haven't only invested big on players. We've also now got players on big contracts at the football club. I do also I want to mention. But yeah, I think there's still a lot of Man United fans, hoping that at some point, we can try recommend a director of footballing. Because don't forget, for the majority of the summer, we was in search for a director of football. Because I think that's one of the structural changes that we do need with the football club. I just don't think Ed Woodward is reliable to oversee our transfer business, and he's reliable to oversee our transfer business. But we should have got that director of footballing. Obviously I said it would be, beneficial to recommend someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who's got that experience, and someone, who would be reliable to obviously our transfer business. And there was quite a few former Man United players linked with the role during the summer. Obviously there was speculation about Edwin van der Sar quite a few weeks back now. But Solskjaer actually, defended the club's current structure. So what it means in that aspect is he believes that, we don't need a new director of football and that. But we need to get in the top 4 this season, like I mentioned, so we can get back into the Champions League. Because anywhere when you're in Champions League football, you've got more of a chance, to attract players to the elite level. And obviously, last season we failed to qualify for the Champions League. So, I will also, put that into the equation. So just a reminder, it is an earlier kick-off tomorrow. It's 12:30 kick-off. Hopefully, Man United can get a good result. It's not long now to the next international break. It's Bournemouth. I think there's a Europa League game coming up soon. I think Brighton's also coming up, and it's obviously Sheffield United after the international break. So hopefully after the international break, the vast majority of our players that are now injured, should be back. So Shaw should be back, Matic and that should be back, Tuanzebe I presume should be back. I'm not too sure with Diego Dalot, because I think it's unknown, when he will be back in contention. But we have to be up for this game tomorrow without a shadow of a doubt. We can win this, like I said, it's 4 away wins on the trot. But it's that we can't have enjoyed the game. We've basically got to win the game. We've got to put another good performance out. So we'll see what happens. I'm not too sure what formation he'll go. He may stick with 3 at the back, or he may revert back to the 4-2-3-1. But he'll go one of them anyway. I should presume. But a variety of things have changed, in the last 4 games and that. So that's something I do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for. If there's more transfer news updates, like I mentioned, I will keep you up to date with that. I've already given you the news, haven't I? I've already updated you with the players that Man United are in for and who we are likely to probably sign in January. So I don't need to go through all the transfer news again. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.